In this video, we will see how to add a floating button to our app, okay? As you can see here, we have this floating button, and every time we click on this floating button, we have this button sheet. So as I said, in this video, we will see how to add this floating button. Let me put this simulator here so that we can actually work on our code. So here we have our code, and what we want to do in order to add this floating button is to come on this whole view and add another overlay, okay? So after this one, this overlay, we can add another one. It's gonna to be that overlay, and inside this overlay, what we want to do, we want to add a button, okay? So here, button, and for our button, the action for now we can simply leave it empty, and for the content of our button, what we want an image, okay? So it's gonna to be image. For the name of our image, we will put the plus image. And as you can see in our preview, we have this plus image. I don't know if you guys can see. Let me zoom in. And if you notice, we have this plus, this blue plus, okay? But right now, it does not look like our finished app, okay? So what we can do, we can style our button. So yeah, if we come back here on this image, what we can do, we can add first a padding. And now that we have this padding, what we can do, we can add a background, okay? So yeah, that background. And for the background, what we want this green color, okay? So it's gonna to be color that green. And now we have a green background. Now what we can do, we can also change the color of this icon, okay? So in order to change the color of this icon, what we can do, we can play with the foreground color. And for the foreground color, we want the color white. Okay, perfect. Just to show you something, if I remove this padding, for example, you can see that we don't have space, okay, after our image, okay? So that's the reason why I added this padding. So if I put it back, now you can see that we have enough space, okay, after our image. So the next thing we want to do is to change the shape of this icon, okay? Because here we want it to be cycle. So here, after this foreground color, what we want to do, we want to add that clip shape. And for our shape, we want a cycle, okay? And we can see that it's getting close to our finished app. But now, if you notice on our finished app, you have this little shadow, okay? So how can we add this shadow? In order to add this shadow, after our clip shape, what we can do, we can specify the shadow property. And here for our radius, we want it to be, let's say 15. And now, right now, you can see that the shadow is gray, but we don't want the color gray. So here we can also specify the color. And for our color, we want it to be green. And here we go, we have this nice shadow, okay? But now we have a problem, because right now our icon is at the center of our app, okay? But what we want it to be at the very bottom of the app, okay? So how can we do this? In order to do this, the first thing we want to do is to put it at the very right of the app, okay? So what I mean, right now is at the center. What we want to do, we want to push it here, okay? So how can we do that? In order to do that, what we can do, we can come here on this button, and we want to wrap this inside an edge tag, okay? Now that this is inside our edge tag, what we want to do, we simply want to add this spacer. And if we add this spacer, as you can see, it will push a button to the very right, okay? So now what we want to do, we want to put it at the bottom, okay? We don't want it here, we want it to be here at the very bottom. So how can we do that? In order to do that, what we can do, after this edge tag, okay, so here, this one, what we want to do, we want to specify a property called alignment, and we want to specify that we want this overlay to be aligned at the very bottom, okay? So that bottom, and here, if you specify that, as you can see, it will push it at the very bottom, okay? And here we can even be more specific. You can say that we want it to be at the bottom trailing, okay? So that it knows exactly where to put this, okay? And of course, you can also play with this. You can say that you want it to be at the bottom leading, so that it will put it here, okay? I don't know why our preview is not working. Okay, it's simply because we have our spacer, okay? So here you can be simply more specific, and you want to specify that you want it to be at the bottom trailing, okay? And now the last thing we want to do is simply add this padding, okay? Because as you can see, we have a padding on this button. So here on this edge tag, what we can do is simply add this dot padding, and by adding this dot padding, you can see that now we have space here. Okay, so that's it for this video. We successfully added this on floating button, and in the next video we'll see how to add this on button sheet. Okay, and I hope you have enjoyed it. If that's the case, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.